Today for my Fall Friday Soups number 3 in a series, I'm going to be making corn chowder. Now my recipe does not have any meat in it. It has potatoes and corn, but you can very easily add meat to it if that's what you and your family would like to do. You can add chicken, you can add ham, you can add even like a Polish sausage type thing, meat. Anything like that. So definitely feel free to make it your own. This soup heats up really well. It's actually, I think, almost better the next day. And you can heat it up in a pan, you can heat it up in the microwave. It's just an excellent soup to add to your soup recipes. So if you want to see how I make it, come along. Okay, to make this soup, these are the ingredients that you will need. You are going to need 3 cups of milk, but we are actually going to save a half a cup to mix in with some flour. So 3 cups of milk, 2 tablespoons of margarine. I have a little bit of red onion sitting out in the baggie. I don't know, I might use a little more than that. I kind of eyeball some of this stuff and just do my own thing, but it calls for a cup of onion. Potatoes, you are going to do a cup of potatoes peeled and cubed. Again, I don't measure that either. Same with onion. Seasonings that I use is salt, Paula Deen's house seasoning, pepper, and a little bit of garlic powder. It only calls for pepper, but we like our seasonings. 2 cubes of chicken flavored bouillon, a soup pot, 2/3 cup of water, 4 tablespoons of flour, and 20-ounce package of frozen whole kernel corn. I use 2 10-ounce bags of the super sweet corn. Okay, I peeled and chopped the potatoes. You can see, do about a quarter of the pot, because I don't put meat in this, so I do a little more potato. I'm going to put it on medium to get it going. I'm going to add the onion, which I also chopped. I'm going to add both bags of corn. Actually, because I'm not using cubes, I'm using just the bouillon powder. I just added that to the 2/3 cup of water, so it kind of just mixes in here. Okay, and then you are going to also add your seasonings at this point. So, pepper, salt, I do garlic powder, and I also use the Paula Deen's house seasoning. It just gives it a little something to the soup. I'm going to stir this. I'm going to put a cover on it. It's going to come to a boil. Once it does, you're going to reduce it to a simmer and let that simmer for 10 minutes. Okay, while my soup is coming up to a boil and then simmering for the 10 minutes, I'm going to add 2.5 cups of milk to a measuring cup, and I am actually just going to go ahead and set this in the refrigerator until I am ready for it. So that's 2.5 cups of milk. I'm going to put that in the refrigerator. Then I'm going to take, this is going to thicken your soup, so it's going to be flour and the rest of the milk, the other 1/2 cup of milk. So with flour, you're going to do 4 tablespoons of flour. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to do a 1/2 cup of milk. I take a fork and I just mix the flour in with the milk, and then you are actually going to set this aside to pour into your soup a little bit later on. This soup still has 6 minutes to simmer, but I wanted to tell you that you do need to every once in a while stir it, just so it doesn't stick. You cannot see it actually boiling, but you can hear it boiling and simmering. And then let it go, and it still has 5 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, this has been simmering for the 10 minutes. Man, it already smells good, and I don't even have the chowder part done to it. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a stir, make sure it's not sticking to the bottom of my pan here. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, which this ends up being perfect because that's what I have left is 2 tablespoons. So let that start melting down in there. I'm going to crank the heat up just a little bit because I'm going to be adding some milk. So I got my milk out of the refrigerator, and I am going to pour that 2.5 cups of milk into the pot. You want to bring this back up to a like a low boil or a simmer. Get this thing going again. Okay, and then we're going to take our flour and that milk mixture that I just made a little bit ago. This is a really fast soup. I mean, really, if you're in crunch time and you need something real fast to throw together, this is definitely a great soup for that. Okay, you're going to pour the flour mixture. Let me try to get this so you can see it. Pour the flour and milk mixture into that pot. Scrape it all out so that I can, because you want that, you know, that's what thickens this soup. This is what makes the chowder part. You can always add more seasonings if you think that you haven't, you know, you don't have enough seasonings in it, because that's your flavor besides the corn and the onions. And then, of course, if you add meat too, that would be a good flavor too. That's basically it. You're going to bring this back up to a boil. You're going to let it, see how it's starting to boil around? Let it just get all bubbly and let it thicken, and make sure that your potatoes are tender, and it's done. So I'm going to continue to let this thicken. You can see that it's starting to. And I can feel already my potatoes need some more time. So I'm probably going to let this go for another 10, 15 minutes yet. Get it boiling and let it cook for another 10 or 15 minutes. And then dinner will be ready. Okay, this has been bubbling away for just literally a few minutes, but I got to show you how quickly this thickens. Look at that. So make sure that you keep stirring it off and on so it does not, try to have it not stick to the bottom of your pan. I always have some still stick to a little bit of the bottom of my pan, but yum. And then we serve ours with French bread. You can have salad, French bread, homemade bread, whatever you want to do. All right, I will show it to you when I get it in the bowl.